Good afternoon, good evening to wherever you are watching us from. My name is Ubong Johnny, and I'm your host at Questiono Podcast. Questiono Podcast is a podcast that deals and quests everything and anything as related to the church, the African community, and families. And today I have on this episode with me good looking and wonderful people. And from my left, I'll like them to introduce themselves briefly. Please, ma, may we meet you?
All right. Good afternoon or good morning to everyone out there. My name is Mrs. Udwak Victor Tom. I'm a psychologist and I'm a child advocate.
Thank you very much, ma. Good to have you, ma. All right, sir.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on what time you're seeing this. My name is Samuel Mbok. I do a lot. I'm a pharmacist and a personal development coach. And as my sister said, I advocate for the right children development. So, child development advocate. Thank you.
So good to have you, yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right, my co-host.
Hello there, Happy New Year, everyone, listeners. Still your favorite co-host at Questiono Podcast Ekeminekwe.
Thank you very much. All right, if you've been following our episodes, previous episode we did a topic on the stress of parenting, and we generalized it. We generalized the stress of parenting. But today we are streamlining the stress of parenting to single parenting, the stress of single parenting. And according to Annie Ikasi in the US, we have over 24 million children in the US who are raised by single parents, and it's on the alarming side of it. It's not funny, and this is what we want to look at today. Okay, so I did some research, and I know that single parenting are actually children raised by a father without a mother, or children who live in a house where partners cohabit. Yes, so children who live without a father, or when a father only or a mother only are raising them, and children that live in a house where partners are cohabiting. All right, ma, let me start with you. What are the unique challenges that are involved in this very act of single parenting?
Wow. Raising children as a single parent is highly taxing. And I would love to say that one of the major challenges these persons tend to face is striking a balance between their work life and then the family responsibilities. It's quite taxing when you have a target out there in the house or at workplace and you have a deadline and you can't meet it because children or the family responsibilities are calling your attention. So you're striking that balance between the work life and the family, responsibilities of this single parent is one of the challenges first. Another thing is the financial strain. Of course, as a single parent, you want to give the best to your child. You want to raise them and get them to attend the best schools and then, of course, come out as someone better in the society. So that financial strain of footing the bills alone, feeding this child, especially, most times they say boys eat more than girls. When you have, more children more male than female, that financial strain of course, accommodation is part of the financial, strain that this person the single parent had to put. And then we have the emotional, toll of this person that having limited time to take care of themselves. That self-care, limited time. Some of them that are running from pillar to post, trying to make ends meet, trying to make these children to be okay. It tells a lot on them. Needless, if I want to also mention, there are other factors, there are other challenges that are exposed to societal stigma.
Wow.
Where a person is just because you're a single parent that you are not supposed to be, you are stigmatized. Let me put it that way. So most of them face a lot of challenges, and these are just few of the challenges that they face.
Pharmacist, sir. So let's come to you. What are the challenges that you relate to single parenting?
Okay, thank you very much. There are a lot of challenges aside from what my sister just said. First, let's come to the psychological challenge for the child. You know, I think there's a research that says that children that grow up without a father in their life don't do well over a period of time. It's scientifically proven. So that's enough challenge, because most of the time, let's assume a mother taking care of a child. Those children will be asking you, "Where is daddy?"
Yeah.
And that's traumatizing, not just to the mother, also to the child. And for some children that are being stigmatized and bullied at school, that's another huge challenge, that some of those children, because of trying to run away from bully, they can join even the bully gang.
Okay,
yeah,
to
become
defend
bullies,
themselves.
To defend themselves, become bullies themselves. And also we want to talk about personality issues that come up. Let's assume a single mother, she hasn't been even able to discover or know who she is. That's going to bring a lot of responsibility on her, trying to figure out who this child is and how to also help the child grow to a particular extent that you can say, oh, this is a responsibility. In fact, the truth is that the sum total of the things we see in the society is predicated on parenting. And single parenting is becoming, in fact, Nigeria is becoming part of, we are now, you know, in fact, we are now competing with those countries that have high rate of single parenting. Why? Because of high rate of where people live irresponsibly. You get pregnant. This one say I'm not responsible. This one say I'm not ready. And yeah. These are the things that real life. And somewhere maybe they were officially married, and one way or the other, they divorced or separated, and because a lot of factors is what is responsible for single parenting. So psychological standpoint of the child, and as she has said, the mother, and also societal and every family challenges too. Because when you have child out of wedlock, or maybe you are now a single parent, the family will say, please be on your own. We are already fighting for our lives. You get, so it's a compendium of a lot of problems where you find out that both the personal individual aspect, societal, and even systemic problem too. You know, we can't say we are let's tell ourselves the truth, we are in a flawed system.
Exactly.
We're in an imperfect system. So that too will play a whole huge role, even when somebody doesn't want to be a single parent. Example, rape.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If a person is raped, maybe a lady is raped, you don't know the father. So you have to take, of course, if you don't want to get rid of a child, you have to take responsibility. And of course, you know very well that the sanctimonious nature of our society don't allow people go through their life with sanity. So there is a lot to single parenting and the stress it brings. Thank you.
A whole lot about single parenting. I think this discussion is getting more interesting.
It's deep.
When a psychologist was talking about the stigma from the society, and he was talking about the factors that determine single parenting, you know, I was forced to move down memory lane to capture what could really cause single parenting, because you cannot just become a single mom or a single dad. Something must have fueled the whole process. So, you know, I think last year, that was on the 16th of December 2023, our attention was drawn to this viral video that was trending on all social media platforms, where a Nigerian Uyo-based lawyer, barrister Ekere Sondebong, was molesting the wife, you know, beating the wife to the extent that the wife was actually bleeding. But what really pains the public was that this is not the first time the husband was doing this. From the neighbor, from the video, the neighbor said that it has, since he packed into the environment, this is the fourth time he's doing that.
Serial abuser.
That means he has been a licensed abuser. And you know, the wife actually complained to the Nigerian Police Command, that's the B Division, with housing. The woman was arrested on the 16th, that was on Sunday. So, but 6 days later, that was on the 20th of December, the wife actually brought up something, a release on Facebook.
Yes,
So I know vividly well, I was the one that reported the case. I brought the attention that I was beaten, I was bleeding. But I want the case to be withdrawn. I have withdrawn the case from the court. I don't want the prosecution again for my sanity and for the sake of my children. I want my husband to come back to the house. My child, we have 7-year-old and a 10-year-old child. So me, I was like, this woman, you were beaten to death. And through the attention from the public, the husband was arrested. I mean, it would have been something like, oh, at least I've been delivered from the domain of depression,
and
you know,
abuse.
but now, the wife had to place the interest of the children at the same time. You know, if we expected that, yes, divorce is the next thing we should go for. The wife should have a happy home. For me, I was like, at the same time, the woman said no, she needs the husband because there is that value, the place value of a father in the life of a child. So from this, what do you think, as psychologists, I will move to you, Ma, what do you think should be the very first kind of causes of or justification to why people break out in marriage, separation in marriage, divorce in marriage? What should really brought this to home?
All right, I would love to start from where you stopped, and then where there is domestic violence, separation is advisable. At least you need life to marry, to stay married. So if someone is battering you, and you are just there for the sake of my children, or you want to remain, in quote, married, there is no marriage in heaven.
This
So
is
you
serious.
need your life
There
to
is no
stay
marriage.
married.
You are not going to be the first in heaven because
Exactly.
you entered with your husband.
Yeah. So when there is no, where there is violence,
Yes.
it is a non-negotiable situation.
Negotiable.
Take a break. Separate. That does not mean you should divorce. At least when you separate, maybe if the man is normal or whoever, of course it can be, the other way around. Because you cannot just be, we can't have Steve and Adam in the same house. That's not how God ordained it. You understand? It's supposed to be, you are in an heterosexual relationship.
Yes.
And there should be consummation for there to be marriage. So if there is no consummation in that marriage, you are just roommates. So the next thing is to find yourself a space and then separate.
Just roommates.
Like the few factors I feel should, lead to separation. At least and then when, to me, I used to see divorce as selfishness, in quotes, because especially where children are involved.
Yes.
Because when you are saying, I'm not doing again, this one say, I'm not doing again, you've not considered the psychological trauma you're going to put these children into. But except there is life-threatening situation, you are advised to separate.
Wow.
Remember, there is no marriage in heaven. You will still need to live for those children, or you need to live.
If I told you go to the
I'm
heaven,
telling you.
As if I thought you go to heaven, you make it there.
Exactly.
you know, Ma, you just said something now. There's no marriage in heaven.
Yeah.
You don't disturb me again. Of course, let me enjoy my single life alone.
If I want to chip in something, that action, the action the woman took it's psychological. When somebody goes through abuse, there's what we call Stockholm syndrome,
Okay.
where the person tends to be more loving to the person that wishes him or her dead. Yes, you tend to be more emotionally attached, and it's scientific. But that's where the point of self-awareness and self-discovery comes to play, because I don't think that woman is staying back because of the children.
Could be societal pressure.
Yeah, it could be the fear of what would they say.
Because that post actually captured the interest of the family and the children at hand.
I tell you for the fact, most of the time, I don't think anybody will want to mortgage their mental health if they truly know the essence of their mental health for anything. Those children will be fine. Last, we go do all right.
Yes. Wow.
But of what use will you be miserable? Sometimes people can see. I tell people a lot that you see people well dressed does not mean they are fine. People are not okay.
Of course.
So they package a lot of things, and then we say they are not normal.
They cover us.
Madness or insanity has been redefined. That you are not roaming the streets does not mean
that you are not mad.
Yeah. Because of course, get to Plaza, you see people do a lot of stuff. Yeah, well dressed, but their actions and decisions will tell you that these people are not normal. So it's Stockholm syndrome. We understand, but the truth is, like people will say, once a thief is a thief, until that man gets healing,
goes through a rejuvenation
state, there is no guarantee that won't happen. It's just like a child that grew up, the father beating the mother. The child has grew up knowing that this is the way a man should
treat the wife.
So in fact, the guy can even attack his father until when he sees that tendency coming out in him, he will now know that, man, I need help. If truly, because most of the time people that are sick don't think they need help.
Yes. Yeah.
Especially now that they feel that psychologists treat only mad people.
Mad people, yes.
No,
Okay.
Yes.
that's
So-
quite wrong.
Yeah.
Because there are other emotional problems and traumas that people pass through that can be taken care of
Wow.
if you meet a professional.
Okay, ma. So actually, we've also looked at those factors that determines what we call single parenting. But to some certain extent, you see, in this topic, because this is very diverse and this is very alarming in the society. Personally, I have a friend of mine that is a product of a single mom. The mom actually does everything possible to make sure that the child has a very perfect life. And you know, every time I asked her, when did you know that your father, like when did you feel the absence of your father? She told me since primary 2. Are you serious? How old were you by that time? He said at the age of 4. So I experienced that there's something missing in my life. And currently now she's studying at College of Education. This should be a final year. Till now, if she should ask the mom, how about my dad, the mom will just try to, change the whole conversation. The mom just get to narrate everything, the whole story, how the father humiliated her, rejected her because she didn't give birth to a baby boy, gave birth to her in SS2. So, sir, from this story now, what do you think? Does it really mean that, because last, no matter what you do to give the child a perfect life, that figure of the dad will still be observed. Because one thing I've come to discover about life is that mom and a dad, they have a very vital role to play. The mom gives attention while the dad cares for the child. So with the child, yes, you can grow the child as a mom, but do you think it is very, very important to have the fatherly place in the life of that child? How can you be a single parent and at the same time you still have your father figure? You still give that child the place of the dad in her life?
First, we'll start from who instituted marriage and parenting, and that's God. And you can't change what He has already done. Yeah, you can't change that. And the natural way is that they should be dad and they should be mom. And they are very unique in their responsibilities and their presence in those children's life. You get, while daddy does the provision, regardless whether you provide, you have to be present in that child's life. If not, no matter what you provide, you are still absent. And unfortunately, that's another topic for you guys. Unfortunately, we have daddies that are still married to mommy, but they are not there. They give the money or they provide everything is there, but daddy is not there. So those children can't actually feel if daddy. So it would have been better that daddy was
they don't
there.
have. Yes.
Good. So it is important that daddy is there and mommy is there. And when daddy is there, please leave the provision. In fact, I say that provision is the lowest responsibility of a man to his family.
This is serious.
That's lowest. Anybody can provide. Yes, you don't need an award to provide. You don't need that. Anybody can provide. But apart from provision, be sure that you are available in that child's life, because nothing will replace the presence of a father in a child's life.
Definitely.
Just like nothing can replace the presence of a mother in a child's life. So it's very, very important and key. But first, we actually have to, because when the cause of a problem is not known, solving it will be very difficult.
Yeah.
People should now be intentional about the choice of the partner. That's true.
Exactly.
The choice of who you want to
marry.
Foundation.
Or if you want to date, in quotes. No, I don't support that. But the choice of who you want to marry or date, so that, as they say, it's accident. If the accident happens, you will not crash.
Oh.
Yes, let there be somebody that will be responsible. Even you don't need to be married to both of you, but let this man come once in a while and, oh, this is my child. How are you doing? Let them have that presence.
Yes.
Let that be presence of mind. Let that child be able to, this is dad, and that is always around beyond providing. And all that. So, a family is a whole system that if one person gets out of it, it's not whole again. It becomes a problem. That's why no matter what single parents do to give children the best, that vacuum will always be there. Because let me tell you, there is something God puts in every man. That if that thing is not there, it's just like this in the space of God. No matter no amount of money you have that will be able to compensate the lack. It's the same thing. So no amount of your stepmother can do that will make you truly forget that
I did.
mommy.
Mommy.
You get.
Yeah.
And no amount of stepdad this in kindness, you will know that this person is not your dad.
Very well.
And so you always find something. You always find a way to cover that vacuum. So family system is a whole, and we should try as much as possible that will make choices, take actions that will reduce single parenting. If not, we are going to churn out adults that will grow up replicating this problem. Because, and you know what, is like an installed capacity. You know, people can only perform to their installed capacity. You can't do more than what is inside of you.
Yes.
So if a child is growing up in a single parenting home and that mommy has tried everything possible, there is a 50% tendency that child is likely to end up as a single parent too, if something is not done.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's scientific,
Repeating
we said
the parents'
repeatedly
mistakes.
mistakes,
Yes.
And this one is not about, you know, we're in a social media generation where people attack their parents. And mommy did not do this, daddy did not do this. Just calm down, grow up. That is when you say adulthood is scam.
Adulthood is scam.
Just grow up. At some point in your life, you say, I'm already doing what daddy. In fact, it's not like a man that cheats and the son caught him cheating on the mom and does not know that this thing automatically don't do your body. By not by design per se, but by observation. You know, children observe a lot.
Yes.
If you are not intentional about your life, you are going to grow up, you know, beating your father's record. If your father had 5 side teeth, you are going to beat that record.
Absolutely.
Because you are a sum total of what you see that man do.
Okay.
Learning by observation.
So pharmacist, thank you very much. Ma, let's move to your own angle. You know, a pharmacist actually said something that no matter what you do, the parents, both parents, you guys have a whip of responsibility in the family. You can't leave one, just two sides of a coin. The responsibility marries. So you need to do it so that we can have a good balanced experience of family life. So Ma, to your own angle, what do you have to chip in here? Because actually, does it really mean that a child who is a product of a tutelage from the side of one parent, is there any possibility that this child will have a balanced experience of family life, a balanced one?
Okay, I will say yes and I will say no.
Okay.
It's both ways. Okay, yes, in the sense that if that child is for the fact that there is no father figure does not mean that God has not made provision. Let's say, for instance, he made mention of rape, and then the child, you know, was as a result of rape, and that does not mean that that child is innocent as long as God is concerned.
Yeah.
Okay.
No matter what the parents did to bring about the child, that child is innocent and God cares for the child as well. So what the person needs to, the parent, the single parent here in quote, needs to do is to expose this child to a father figure that mentors, that teachers, that people who cares genuinely. For the fact that I cannot say because I didn't grow up with my mom or with my dad, I didn't have my father by my side, then I should now become a wayward and a useless person in the society. No. So my background, notwithstanding, does not mean that I should not. That God has provided people. So what the mother or the father, or whoever is a single parent in this case, is to deliberately and intentionally introduce, because the way, like he said, the way God made family is supposed to be the father, the mother, the children. You know, children growing under the umbrellas of the parents.
Yes.
So where one is lacking, you can use a mentor to augment for it, and then the person will grow up. For instance, I grew up in a polygamous family. My mom was not around. My father said he wants to raise us by himself and picked me to be with my stepmom. Oh. So now, of course, like he said also that your stepmom can never take the place of your mom.
Yes.
But what God did at that moment was to provide mentors
for you,
who took me as their own and showed me things that my stepmom couldn't show me.
Wow.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So now God has provided. Every child, like they said in they always said that a child is a product of a whole.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
A whole.
A part
So
of
for
a
the
whole.
fact that you are not the one who gave birth to this person biologically does not mean that if you see a child going astray, you can caution the child and call back the child. So it's possible for a child to have a balanced life if exposed to the mentoral system.
Yes.
And then know if the mother decide to say, okay, there's how somebody backs in the euphoria of what happened to them.
Yes.
So because of that, you are seeing that child as your problem. So it's because of you that I am in this situation. So you don't care about the child, you don't groom the child, you don't expose the child to anything that will make the child to be better. That same child will come and taunt you in future. Because when that child is not, is trying to grow up, navigate childhood into teenage age alone. You may not, so whoever have our ear time will definitely have the heart. So perhaps this child is exposed to, occultic people, to cultism, to bullying. That is the line the child will toe. So that child can never, so the child now grows up to become a problem to the society.
Yes.
And who is going to take the shame? Still, they will trace back to your family and lineage. So, yes, it's possible to have a balanced life.
Yes.
And it's also not possible if this child is not given. For the instance, if you want it to make a child a medical doctor, you start to prepare the child. Maybe from that childhood, you start buying toys, stethoscope, things that reflect and portrays that profession. That child grows up to like it.
And love
consciously and unconsciously. Yes. So, but if that environment is not provided, just like parents, you didn't provide the environment when the child was growing up. All of a sudden, when the child is a full-blown adult, you say, I want a medical doctor. And here the child cannot stand blood. Nothing around medicine is found around this child.
You are going to get an agbo.
If the child fails to become a medical doctor, he will become a native doctor.
So it is the responsibility of the single parent to either decide intentionally, the word is intentional, being intentional and exposing this child to those mentors, which God, as you can see it in your own religious body, you can see it in school, you can see it in teachers, among teachers, because God will always be faithful to provide such people. So you expose them, you read, and then try to integrate the child into association or family circle where they can learn something. They may not have learned from you because you are a single parent, but you expose them to a positive family setting where they can learn. I actually watched a movie and where this child was raised up in a toxic environment, but she happened to have she had a friend who exposes her to the family. The father is so loving and accommodating, and they embraced her into the family. She that was making up her mind that she would never marry in life because of what the father used to do to the mom, she was now embracing it. So it can change depending on where the child is being exposed to.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Oh, our audience, I hope you're enjoying yourself and you're learning so much. All right, just subscribe. We're still tuning to Question No Podcast session where we answer questions. All right, so as we are trying to round off this session, I would love to know, so I'll start from you. What will be your advice to single fathers out there? So, most of them might have been as a result of the death of the spouse. I can relate to someone like a renowned gospel singer like Dusin Onyeka, who is a single father now. What would be your advice to, as a pharmacist, as a child advocate, Mama, you speak for the ladies. What would be your advice to single fathers out there?
Well, the first thing is when she said something and knowledge dropped, the first thing you do, you have to heal. Heal from what happened. You have to, because it is from healing that you'll be able to look beyond where you are. People that are still holding on to hurts hardly make wise and rational decisions. So heal. You lost your partner. Take time and heal. But when you are healing, try as much as possible not to forget that you have a responsibility for that child. It's not, most of the time, it's not even losing nowadays. It's not, the percentage is not much losing partner. The percentage is separation.
Separation, okay.
Sometimes the woman can say, I know you do again. They are happening everywhere. Then you do again. Like where I work, I have cases where a woman left the child. Maybe because he's not the kind of man he wanted to marry. But since they had child, the woman left the child and japa, you get. So heal from what happened. Heal from the trauma of the person dying or living, so that you'll be able to make rational decisions in respect to the children. Number 2 is try as much as possible to help parenting that child be a communal thing. Not, see, the truth is, it is very hard for an African man, the African man in quotes, to raise a child or children alone. It's hard.
Exactly.
The African man in quotes is very hard. It will only take a renewed man, a rebranded man, especially mentally, to raise a wholesome child when the mother is not there. We will talk of etiquette, we'll talk of morals, character. Okay, can you paint a scenario of a man raising a girl child? How it will look like?
Alone. How? Like how?
Then the girl now grows up to a teenage age. Grows up to a teenage age. You know what that means?
At 14.
At 14.
You know?
It's a sad
You hear
picture to
questions.
paint.
You get
You hear questions.
So that's the point. So after healing, try as much as possible to bring the right people into this child's life. Sisi, you don't grow alone just with men. Women will come around and all of that, because there are things that the young girl can do. The man will not know that. The man, being a man, will not know that is not normal. He will go his way. But if a woman figure is around, you get, whether it's grandmom or auntie, this thing is wrong, young woman. It makes sense. It helps change the child's perspective around just growing up, being a man and doing tomboy and all that. Because the way you see daddy behave is what you can behave.
Influence you to behave that way.
And guess what? The way men discipline children is not the same way women discipline. That comes to play too.
Okay.
You get. So it's a whole lot. If you want to sit down and talk about this, it'll take us.
All right, ma. To you, there's this movie that's trending. I think is one of a tribe called Judah. And this really depicts the place where a woman or a mother raises children. And in this case, Jedediah, which a Funke, raised 5 sons from different tribes. Emeka, Pere, Adamu, and the rest. So there was a very great imbalance in the scene. So as a psychologist, what will you give our audience advice on how to raise as a single mother?
Okay, as a single mom or father, I would love to say that, first of all, it starts with you. If you are whole, like he said, everything will go down well.
Yeah.
But if you are not whole, because your temperament here will come into play, the way you see that child, that child is not your problem. I know it is, kind of tasking, trying to, figure out yourself. Maybe you were this type of person that you love your personal life, you love your own privacy, and all of a sudden there is a child without a father invading into your privacy, and you're struggling to balance between being a career woman or man and then taking care of a child all of a sudden. I know it can be very stressful, straining, and very, very somehow, but I believe that you can still pick up your pieces again by going. There is nothing. The Bible says that there is hope for a tree, although it may be cut down, but by the scent of water that it shall sprout up again. I think if you follow God very well, He's going to make a way out for you. And then please don't, like I said before, don't see the child as your problem. It's not your problem. The child is not your problem. And then because you are a single parent does not mean that you can't achieve your vision. And then you can't pursue, you can't be your best. There are several people out there who are single parents, but they are still pursuing their careers and still helping their children or their child, as the case may be. So pick up yourself, dust yourself again, polish your self-esteem,
Okay.
place premium on yourself again, you are good to go. You are good to go. A child or children notwithstanding. So don't settle for the less because you are single. Somebody will come out for you, and the person will just love you for you, and you embrace you for who you are. So
Embrace the
don't just
children.
sit down and settle for the less. So because now you are a single parent, you now settle for the mechanic. I'm not saying mechanics are bad, but at the same time, put your value very high and then trust God that is going to bring the person that will like you and as well as your child love you and give you the best that you do experience. Whether your partner left you or whether you were raped, there is hope for you. You know, among all the 150 chapters of the Psalms, there are many that takes care of, you know, David used to talk to himself. So you can talk to, you can comfort yourself, read through the Psalms and select where God, you know, can speak to you and heal you so that you'll be able to raise that child. You'll be able to show, who knows what that child will be tomorrow. Can end up being, you know, the president of your country, can end up being your governor, can end up being greater things. And watch those children that are being raised by single parents, the way God uses them. You know, it's far beyond some spoiled kids that are growing up with their parents. You understand? There is hope for you. And I believe that as you dust yourself and know, put your shoulder square again, something positive is going to come out of your life, and God is going to surprise you this year.
I think I should chip in something. You know, life will always happen.
Sure.
No matter how you try to, you know, do it, life will always happen. But we need to have this superior mindset that whatever happens is not against you, it's for you. Whatever happens is not against you, it's for you. Whatever you are going through is not. If you notice in a particular scene in that a tribe called Judah, Funke said, yes, I've given birth to 5 children from different 5 tribes, but I can't kill myself.
Yes.
You can't kill yourself. What you do is you dust yourself and make sure that no matter what you do, keep developing yourself. That is how you become the best version that even people that look down on you or stigmatize you want to associate with you. You know, personal development is what helps you leave stage 1 to stage 2.
Yes.
And it does what we call rebranding. It makes you become a better version, even when people think nothing good can come out. So no matter what you're going through, life has happened. Oh yes, it will always happen.
We move.
Even the rich and the poor, they cry.
Yes.
So whatever happens, we move.
I said I'm a psychologist, a child advocate. You know, I help parents to make their children to make the right career choice. Not just, you know, waking up one morning and say your child must be a doctor or an engineer. There is a way out. I can show you vividly, step by step, using the diverse things I will use both the psychological and all, you know, we will explore all areas to ensure that you have your child make the right career choice in this kind of society and still be relevant. So I am a child psychologist, and a child advocate, I'm a psychologist, and then I'm also a, you know, career counselor. I love that. Mine just revolve around children, teenagers and parents. So we have all manner of things. I also help I help parents to develop their mental health while taking care of these children and while grooming them as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Ma.
you.
All right, sir.
My name is Samuel Umbok once again. I'm a personal development coach. I read pharmacy, so I'm a pharmacist. And I'm a data analyst. So for our tech guys, I help businesses analyze data and even individuals. So what I do regarding my personal development consulting is that I help individuals and career professionals get clarity. Apart from getting clarity, you are able to navigate your personal development journey successfully, because everybody is in a journey.
Yeah.
Our fights are very different. And for you to get to your next level, there is something you have to do. I show you that thing. I hope you consult with me. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, my co-host.
Okay, I'm Ekemine Kwere. I am a public speaker in making and by certification. I help to blend your event with memories. Yeah, when I say memories, a lasting one. I'm an event MC and an event continuity announcer. Outside that, I also joined my talent to coach teens. So I'm a teens coach. For the past 2 years now, I've been able to appear on the stage for 8th time. So for your event, you can have me, and for your issues concerning the teens, how to raise teens in the society, how to help teens to navigate through the ordeals that comes from the society, distractions, you can consult me, the vocal orator. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm still your host at Quest to Know podcast, Ubong Johnny, and I trust that you've enjoyed and learned from today's episode. See you next edition. Bye.
Bye.